So a little while ago, I saw a video from YouTuber Kevin Noki showing him making a new version of the classic ADB mouse using the bamboo mouse kit. And I thought, well, I've got a bamboo printer. I can print one of those out. So I downloaded the files that he happily linked in his video and I started printing them. I'm using generic ABS here and the standard PEI textured plate. And as you can see, tree style supports. Uh, just from the beginning, I didn't love the texture on the side of the base for it. And then as I continued printing out the rest of the mouse, it builds up here and it's all going very nicely. And then for some reason, along comes the spaghetti. So I took that away and I printed it out again using the BQ frostbite plate or glacier plate. I can't remember which one. I've got the one that you can print in ABS on. So I printed out the top again, and thankfully this time it went okay. I put an extra brim on there just in case it had got a bit unstable or something. I don't think that's what happened in the first place. But yeah, that printed okay, and then I printed the base again because I wanted the nice flatter texture on the bottom. Then I printed out the red bits to go inside there, and then I printed them out again because the first ones I printed out still had some black pigment in there. So now it comes time to assemble it. Putting in all the fiddly parts, just like in his video, and trying to work out which way up various bits go and stopping that from flying out of there. So I put the feet on the bottom to have a bit more space underneath there. And so now I think I've got it all right. Put that in, and I got to put it in and manage to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory and snap off the mouse wheel. So, unfortunately, that means that the nice coloured one that I printed out is not the one that I've ended up putting in there. So, after I realise what is happening, what is just about to happen here, bugger it. So that's a bit annoying. So I scrabble around for a little while and get something to poke out the little bit that remains in there. So try a needle first or something, and that was not the right thing to do. So get a paper clip and use that instead. Thought about contemptuously throwing that part on the floor, but no temper tantrum there. So as printed out, the seam on the two parts of the mouse wheel needs to be trimmed down a little bit on both the inside and the outside. This takes a few little goes to get done, but I get there in the end. And now, unfortunately, I need to use the mouse wheel, which has got the a little bit of black pigment in there, but not the end of the world. At some point I can redo it. So now let's try doing this again without snapping the printed part. Stands to be a fine thing. Does he make it? Gets it in there. And do I break it? Do I break it? No, I don't. But this PCB isn't sat down perfectly, so I think I'll use the Stanley knife here to leave that out slightly and get it in, and manage to break that clip, so that's cool. Then I just go for the one on the right, which is directly up against the edge of the case, so it's well supported, so that one's not going to break. So just having one there is okay, because there's not that much force coming upwards to the PCB. I'll just trim a little bit off there and make it go in there a little bit easier. Not safe handling of the Stanley knife initially, cutting towards my thumb. Get a little bit smarter later on, cut away from the thumb. And that one I'll just leave there. I guess I could glue it back in place, but not worth it. Now let's try putting it in again without breaking the scroll wheel again. Don't worry, I don't end up breaking the second scroll wheel. Yep, so I'm happy with how that goes in. Seems to turn on and off okay, so that's good. So the next step is to put in the wires for the battery. Takes me a little while to work out which way goes up, but the spring part is in a recessed area so that the flat bottom of the AA battery can be pushed down into it. So I end up putting the black one on the bottom here. And the next step is to screw in the little retainer for the PCB. First I'll try out the scroll wheel, try to break it again. Thankfully that doesn't happen. Put the retainer in place and find that the screws don't fit. So mess around with that for a little while and we'll then go to my supply of miniature screws, which I managed to save after dropping all 800 of them or whatever on the floor. It was literally a packet of 800. It's not fun. I haven't finished sorting them all out yet. One day I will, maybe. And fat finger as I try to put it in. And eventually I get there. So that's great. So now we'll put on the top, and it's a single piece top. The button sections just flex against the rest of it. And then I remember that there's a hook part on one of them and get that in correctly. So that's good. And now I'll try the same screws that the mouse came with the same predictable results, that they're not long enough to actually bite into the other part there. I'm sure this isn't the designer's fault. I suspect probably just this batch of bamboo mouse kits came with a different length screw. I bought them off AliExpress instead of from Bamboo Labs themselves. Wouldn't have thought that somebody would clone a mouse kit that was worth, I don't know, $12 or whatever, but you never know. And maybe they put the wrong screws with it. But it snaps together okay without them, so that's all right. So we'll add a battery and try it out. One of the things I found that with this kit, unless the receiver is plugged into a computer, the mouse doesn't stay turned on. But once I did that, it all works fine. The scroll wheel works, the clicking works. So this is a nice little overview of it. I'm quite happy with my first 3D printed mouse. It's functional. Again, like Kevin, I don't love the click of the mouse buttons, but I will be replacing them too. It's been a little while since I last made a video. I had a few that I made up, and then I couldn't export them from iMovie. So I kind of lost enthusiasm. But hopefully this one goes okay, and I've got a few more that I want to make soon. So I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.